Hey guys, I'm Trip Owens. Welcome to our part 1 of our camera tutorial. In this tutorial we're going to talk about the basic mechanics of the camera and how to set everything up, so let's go ahead and jump in. First, unlock the camera by pushing the two levers on the left side of the tripod forward. Next, adjust the tension in the tripod by turning the yellow knobs on either side. The one on the left affects your vertical tension, while the one on the right affects your horizontal tension. The higher the tension, the less the camera shakes when you move. Now, based on your ideal level of comfort, you can also adjust the length and the angle of both of these arms. So you can see up at the top, we've got two knobs right here that you can adjust the angle for, and you've got two knobs right here that you can adjust the length of. So all I have to do is loosen one of these, and I can shorten or lengthen the arm based on my preference. And I can also loosen the top one right here, and based on how comfortable I am, I can adjust the angle of the arm itself. Adjust your camera monitor to an agreeable height and angle, but make sure it doesn't cover your tally light. This light indicates that your camera shot is live by illuminating red. Now, if you notice that your camera shot is drifting forwards or backwards and you're not touching it, that means that the camera is off balance. So to fix that, what we do is we unlock a little switch at the top of the tripod over here, and then we can slide the base forwards or backwards depending on which way it's leaning. So if your camera shot is drifting forwards, that means that there's too much weight at the front and we need to slide it backwards to counterbalance. And likewise, if it's leaning back a little bit, that means that there's too much weight at the back end and we need to slide it forwards to adjust. Once that's done, all you have to do is lock the lever back in place and you should be good to go. Finally, you can put on your headset, adjust the volume, and stand by for directives. When everything is done, make sure you lock the camera down, take your headset off, and turn the volume down. Okay, that wraps it up for part 1 of our camera tutorials. In part 2, we're going to talk a little bit more about how to actually operate the camera and some terminology that you need to keep in mind. So we'll see you guys next time. Hey everybody, I'm Trip Owens. Welcome to part 2 of our camera tutorial. In this half of the tutorial, we're going to talk about some basic shots you can get and some terminology that you're going to hear. So let's go ahead and take a look. First, there's the zoom function. This is controlled by the button on your right handlebar. Zooming in is getting closer to your subject, while zooming out is getting further away. If you're zoomed in really close, that's called a close-up. If you're zoomed out really far, that's called a wide shot. When you zoom out, try not to go any further than a head-to-toe shot. This helps people in the back connect with what's going on stage. Focus is controlled by the textured knob on your left handlebar and controls how blurry or clear a shot is by rotating it left or right. When you make a shot blurry, that's called racking out. When you make it clearer, that's called racking in. And as you get more familiar with all these basic movements, you'll be able to start combining them to make some pretty cool shots like these. A reveal is used when a shot starts off on some empty space and then moves to show the subject. You can do this by dropping down or panning. If you reveal somebody by panning, make sure you're panning away from the direction they're facing. Otherwise, the first thing in your shot is the back of somebody's head. Now lastly, let's go over some guidelines on how to frame your shots. The two basic shots for a person on camera are knees up shots and waist up shots. Next comes headroom. This is the amount of space between the top of your subject's head and the top of your screen. There should only be a little headroom. Not enough will cut off their heads, and too much will put a big gap above them. It's also important to maintain your headroom when you're moving your shot. If you're following somebody who's walking back and forth, like a speaker, remember, you don't always know what they're going to do. Be prepared for anything. Okay, that wraps up part 2. I hope you guys found it helpful. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to let one of us know. We'll see you later. Hey guys, I'm Trip Owens. Welcome to our shading tutorial. The shading station is where we adjust the brightness of each camera shot to maintain an even balance throughout the service. So let's go ahead and take a second to get acclimated. We adjust the camera shots using the camera control units, or the CCUs for short. Now, there are two monitors you can use to reference while you're adjusting each shot. This one on the left has multiple feeds, and this one on the right is where you can cycle through different camera shots using the switcher right below. So now that we got some of that covered, let's take a look at how to run it. Start by throwing on your headset. This will let you hear the director and listen for upcoming camera shots. You have 3 cameras you can control. From top to bottom, there are cameras 1, 2, and 3. Each has a knob on the far right you can use to adjust the light levels of each shot. Brightening the picture is called irising up, and dimming the picture is called irising down. Turn the knob right or left respectively to do that. When you're working the station, be aware of the tally light on the CCU. If it's lit, that means the camera shot is live and everyone can see it. So be sure not to mess with the iris if it's lit, otherwise people will be distracted by seeing the light shift on screen. As you change camera shots, you'll notice the vector scope in the lower right-hand corner of your left monitor change as well. The vector scope just assigns numerical values to the brightness of your shot. Try to keep the waveforms from peaking above the +80 mark, where the dotted line is. Okay, that about wraps it up for the shading tutorial. If you have any questions, feel free to ask us. We'll see you guys next time. Hey guys, I'm Trip Owens. Welcome to our recording tutorial. This is where we archive all of our services to various media like DVDs and hard drives. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Let's start by looking at the different faders and knobs we have here. Here you can see the front of house stereo faders. This deals primarily with what you hear during worship. Any of the instruments and vocalists are going to come through this channel. The next two are pretty self-explanatory, the pastor and the crowd channel. Anything the speaker says during the message comes through the pastor, and the audience reactions come through the crowd. MD stands for musical director. This person is standing on stage with worship, giving directives and telling people when they're going back into things like the bridge or the chorus. We keep this up so that the songs people can hear what they're saying. Now once you've set all this at 0, you're pretty much done unless you're asked to adjust something specific. During the service, you just need to mainly focus on the tiny blue touch screen to adjust the room volume. To adjust the room volume, press the decibel reading under the room volume title in the lower left-hand corner. Once you see it highlighted, make sure it says unmuted beside it. If it doesn't, just tap the word until it does. After that, all you have to do is turn the black knob up or down to adjust the volume. All right, now that we've talked a little bit about how to run the station, let's take a look at some of the different kinds of media you'll be recording to. They're pretty straightforward. The first is just a regular DVD, and the other one is a KeyPro, which is just a small hard drive. So let's take a look at how these things work. With the DVDs, just hit record after they've been inserted. But once you're done recording, you need to close off any extra space in the DVD so it can be played back. This is called finalizing. To finalize the DVDs, you need to stop them and hit the function button on your remote. Select Other Functions, DVD Management, Finalize, Yes. Type in your PIN number, wait 30 days, sign away your firstborn, and hit Start. After that, all you have to do is wait for it to finish and put the DVDs in the case. The KeyPros are pretty straightforward. All you have to do to start them is hit the red record button. When you're done, hit the stop button, power off the KeyPro, and hit the eject button to remove them. All right, that about does it for the recording station. If you have any questions, feel free to let one of us know and we'll be happy to help you. We'll see you guys next time. Hey guys, Trip Owens here. We're going to talk about song lyrics today. The purpose of this station is to lead the congregation in worship by providing lyrics on screen consistently without interruption. Now, this is one of the most visible and demanding stations that we have, so make sure it's something you're absolutely dying to do before you watch any further. If there's any doubt in your mind, go ahead and stop the video now and pick something else. I'll wait right here while you make up your mind. Seriously, take a second. Hold my calls. You still here? Awesome, let's go. Let's start with the library. This is where we keep all the individual presentations. If you're looking for something specific, you can scroll through alphabetically or use the search bar to find something. You can either search for just the title or you can search for a presentation that has a specific phrase via the Contents option. This feature is invaluable when you look for songs on the fly during worship. Next is the playlist column. Each of these houses presentations specifically related to certain services. So there's a Wednesday night, Sunday morning, Sunday evening playlist, etc. You can click the relevant one and select any of the individual presentations in the adjacent column to make it appear in the large window in front of you. From here, you can select the first slide with your mouse and scroll through it using the spacebar, not the arrow keys. Do your best to avoid using the mouse cursor as well. The reason being is oftentimes it can be so finicky that you don't want to risk it failing you when you need to select something on the fly. And if you need to jump to the bridge or the chorus of a song, you can use the hotkeys. Hit the B button to select the bridge and the C button to select the chorus. You can do this an indefinite number of times if and when the worship team decides to reprise a portion of the song. Now, if you want to change how the individual slides in a presentation are displayed, you've got a couple of options. There's Grid View, and Table View. Grid View will show you the slides in a horizontal format, whereas Table View condenses them down and displays them vertically, one on top of the other. And if you want to adjust the size of either of these, select the knob beside the icons and scroll left or right to decrease or increase respectively. Finally, from time to time we get calls from the nursery and have to put a number up on screen to alert a parent to go get their child. To do this, ensure that no lyrics are selected and click the Messages icon at the top of the screen. Select the proper template, type in the letters, and click Show Message. To take it down, select Hide Messages, and then close the window. Always make sure you have permission to send the nursery number first to make sure it doesn't distract from anything else on the screen. That should do it for song lyrics. If you have any questions, feel free to ask one of us. We'll be happy to help. We'll see you guys next time.